Okay, Maestro, hit it.
I'm Wally Boat. I didn't know you knew Mickey Mouse.
Museum of the Weird.
The dawn of a new era.
Just a dream away.
Now, apart from your work as an Imagineer, you've also done several sculpting pieces, several limited edition art pieces over the years. Can you tell me a little bit about some of your sculpture work?
Well, what happened was Disney hires you for a while and you're an employee. Then later, when projects maybe thin out and there's not a lot of projects, some people stay on, usually men, it's not that they don't let women stay on. My friend Valerie Edwards, who's a brilliant sculptor, she was there for a long, long time. And Kim Irvine, who has been there for a long time, and I think it was her grandmother, who was Madame Leota. I could have that wrong, but in any case,
that's right.
The women, there are women involved, but women who do the lath and the plaster, and they get their hands really super dirty, climbing all over their tractions themselves, we're pretty rare. So sometimes we are asked to move on, and this is what happened with Disney. So I am known as the come here, get away Imagineer, which means that when Disney asked me back for various projects, I have a company of my own. And so they said, if you want to be an employee, then you need to be our employee, not your company, which means pretty much it sounds like they want me to dissolve my company. So I said, how can I help you? And so I'm a contractor for Disney, and they bring me on when they need to catch up a lot of times. Terri, Shanghai's behind a week. Can we fly you out? Will you help us? If I go out there, I help them, and then they say, okay, bye, it's fine. And we're both very happy. So when working on some of these projects, I was there for 10 solid years, jumping from stuff to stuff to stuff to stuff. And then I went off and worked with Jim Henson for a bit. And then I went off and worked for Mattel, and I worked for other companies. And Tony Baxter and I are huge antique lovers. We love antiques. So we ran into each other at a favorite antique show. And I told him how I had been at Mattel for a year, and I had been sculpting all kinds of things for Disney, but for a different company. And I wondered if I could come back to Disney and sculpt Disney for Disney. And he was kind of like, no. And I was like, do I suck? And he's like, no. But he said Imagineering had changed, and the attitudes at Imagineering had changed. And one of the things that Tony loved about me was my passion. He said to me that my crazy, nutty, over-the-top passion was what he adored about me, and that he didn't want me to lose that. And I don't believe I could have lost that, honestly. But Tony was concerned about it. So he said, but we got this new thing happening down at Disneyland where we're inviting sculptors to sculpt art pieces. And I was like, what? And he said, product that people can buy. And I was like, he said, would you be interested in that? Well, Josiah, yeah, okay. Is my name going to be on it? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yay. I'm in. I'm 100% in. Let's do it. Let's light this candle. And so he said, well, give me a few days. I'm going to give you a number, call up, and on Monday, and it was a Saturday. And he said, call Monday. And he gave me the name of the person who was in charge of the whole project. And I called on Monday, and he said, when can you come in? And I said, tomorrow, today, I want to come. Yeah, I want to come. And what I hadn't realized is that Tony had called everyone at Disney, an emergency meeting on that Sunday, and said, I'm sending you this young lady. You are going to hire her. And so I had no idea that they were already prepared to hire me. I thought I was going to go in and I was going to do my pitch and the whole thing. That's usually how things work. So I went in and I met with them, and they had me walk around the park and pick. They said, we want you to do something for the 15th anniversary of Fantasyland. And I said, oh, okay. So those were my first sculptures back in 1998. And I'm wondering if I have any example of them in here. I do. Here we go. As you can see some of them. This is my Dumbo that I did. This is a limited edition Dumbo. Dumbo's only 5 inches. And this is an art proof. And then I did a teacup. So it was a series of 6, and I sketched them out while another guy named Tony looked at them. This is the Carousel Horse. And I chose my Carousel Horse. I did not do jingles. This is my favorite Carousel Horse because it has a cherub on the front. So I sculpted the cherub. And then I did the Gravedigger and his dog. And I did the Organ Master for
that was one I really was jealous about reading about in your book, because that organ is like one of the most iconic pieces of the attraction. That's the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea organ, and you got to see it close up.
Oh my goodness. The nice thing about being an Imagineer is that you know what questions to ask when Disneyland commissions you to do a piece that will be offered in the park. And all my pieces were never offered like on the shelf. I had an appearance and then I signed them and you bought them. A lot of times you had to go to showings because there were only 10 available. In the case of this organ, it's over 15 inches tall. And right now I have an art proof for sale, which is $9,999.99. So I had 2 art proofs available. Now I only have 1 art proof available, and it's the very first art proof. What's interesting is when one of my collectors bought the second art proof from me for the same amount of money, he bought the second one. And it was really funny because I thought people would buy the first one, because what happens is in an art proof, you assemble the pieces. Once you've cast them up, you sculpted them all up, and you put them together, you want to make sure everything fits. Well, in the original art proof that I have here for sale now, the foot doesn't hit the pedal of the organ. So I had to break the sculpture apart and reposition the body so that the foot hit the pedal. So the art proof number 2, the foot hit the pedal, and that's the one the guy bought. So I still have the one where the foot doesn't hit the pedal. And usually collectors like that because the story attached to it. But no, it's still with me. So what happened was that when I did this organ, when I was commissioned to do this organ for the anniversary of Haunted Mansion, I also did a bat that sat on top of bricks with the logo emblem on them. I asked them, I said, I'm going to need to tour the Haunted Mansion. I'm going to need to do a walkthrough because I want to do pictures and I need to do close-up shots of it, because in my situation, it needs to be terribly accurate. And they were like, okay. And they said, do you want to come in the morning or do you want to come in the evening? And I said, because we have to have a cast member be with you. And I said, let's do it in the morning, because if I were a cast member, I'd much rather come early and host an Imagineer walkthrough than have to have a long day after I've done all my work, only to stay an hour later to take this Imagineer through. And so they sent me a cast member. I brought with me my fabric lady, my painter, and a photographer. And we did a walkthrough of the Haunted Mansion. Well, this is something that everyone dreams of doing. And so it was great. But my husband, who is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea nut, said, take pictures of that because it's the original. That is the original piece. Blah, blah, blah. You got to see it. That's the actual one. And I said, okay, I will. And I did. And that's why we have all this great detail on here. That's why we've got like the hand painting on the side, and the pipes look really well and everything looks nice, because I was right there able to take my pictures close up and use them as my guide when I was sculpting it for the park.
Something I am incredibly jealous of. I do also want to talk about something you talk about in your book, because it's a hot topic right now. Disney resellers. So you mentioned at one point trying to get pieces for your family and having eBay sellers coming in and snatching them all up. Disney recently cracked down on this, and right now they've been revoking annual passes for those found to be buying up all the Disney stock to resell on eBay. They're also limiting purchase quantities. Do you, as an artist affected by resellers, think this is like a step in the right direction, or what would you like to see done from here?
I think they need to do it more.
Mhm.
I really think they need to do it more. I think there's also influencers. I can only guess, but I think that Disney kind of maybe, or somebody somewhere, or retailer somewhere, give influencers a first crack at the product. And I don't mind if you give them first crack, but you really have to limit it, because if a person who loves the pieces can't even get it because eBay sellers are selling it aftermarket before you even get your little paws on it, this isn't a good practice. Then you're in it for the money and you're not in it for the joy of people getting it. And recently we had the Mummy Mickey popcorn box.
Oh,
And
yes.
oh my goodness, everybody was so excited about this popcorn box. And I have to say, at least it held popcorn, because there are some popcorn boxes, good luck if it holds popcorn, and their designs are ridiculous. So this was a really cute popcorn bucket looking bucket, and a lot of people couldn't get him because there were people swooping in and buying massive amounts and bringing their families and all this kind of stuff. I think, maybe Disney just doesn't want to be that big of a police dog, and I can understand that, but there really should be some left over for there's got to be some for the collector who wants to get. They only want one.
Yeah.
They don't want 5 million. They just want one for their collection. And then it's really, really challenging.
And on the same level, you had the Starbucks cups. They were just tooth and nail. It was that one all viral video when they released those. Like, I do hope that they at least get into some form of. I would think they're taking a step in the right direction, and I'm hoping that it kind of sticks that way.
Frustrating when you've got people in a position who don't. Sometimes companies don't want a collector because they worry that the collector's going to take things that to sell later aftermarket, that they might lift things, which I think that's automatically calling somebody a thief before they even had the chance. A collector understands the collector's mind and how to present to a collector. So in the case of, I was going to show you this. Let me show you my Tinkerbell. So here is a Tinkerbell.
I do love
we
this
were
piece.
doing for the 40. We were doing this for the 50th anniversary of, was it 50th? Yeah, Walt Disney. We were going to do a 50th anniversary presentation. And originally I was going to do a map, and I'll show you that in a minute. But Tinkerbell, they told me they were going to, after I sculpted her and designed her, they said, we're only going to ask you to do one. And I said, no, you're not. You are not going to have me sell just one of these. That is ridiculous. If you do, I'll break her, because I'm not doing that. And they were like, well, why not? And I said, she's one of the most popular characters. People will rip each other apart to get her. So they said, well, we'll only do 50. And I'm like, no. Okay. If you want to do 50 of something, let's not make it Tinkerbell, because it was going to be at the last Disneyana convention. So it cost you $2,000 to get in. And then you got to try and vie for one of the 50 Tinkerbells that are available. If there were only 50 available, she would have been at an event like that, $1,500. Now you got to sell your kid to get her. And it's like, no. And I said to my representative, I said, I don't mind making something that's unique and special. It just can't be one of the number one characters. And so she works really hard. And we made 2,500 of this Tinkerbell. And then rather than make it for Walt's 50th, we just presented her a year later and brought her out in increments. And you can still get her today aftermarket, but a lot of people got her and she was only $75.
Oh, wow.
And this is what's really special for me, is that if you're a collector, I want you to be able to buy something that is of quality for not too expensive. Don't get me wrong, I have the expensive stuff, but I want to do something that people can have, that they can put aside in an heirloom, love Disney, and later on bring it out and sell it, celebrate it, whatever they want to do. In one case, there was a young lady who passed, who's a young man who's sister had passed away. She loved Tinkerbell. So he bought one to put on her, in her tomb.
Oh, wow.
It was on the outside in a special case outside of her tomb because she had died very young. And that's the kind of stuff. But if it runs hundreds of thousands, if it runs a gazillion dollars because of aftermarket. So aftermarket, you can get this Tinkerbell for she sold for $75 at the park. And now you can get her probably aftermarket if she's signed $300. And if she's not signed, probably around $100. If you can get her for less, grab her and then write to me. And then she can be signed. So but she was extremely popular. On the bottom, my name is on the bottom. The box was designed. They did a lovely job. But there were people at Disney that were kind of angry that I pushed back. And they weren't happy that I pushed back. And so as a result, they used their influence to keep me from selling in the parks anymore. So you pick your battles as an artist. You know, if you want to sell at Disneyland and you sell in the park, but they're asking you to do things that are completely unethical, you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And I don't regret, you know, when someone's going to tell me that they're going to take my Tinkerbell and put her in a show that I didn't authorize because it's their product, then I go, well, no.
Yeah.
You know, no, you promised pass holders, you promised the Disney enthusiasts that they could have Tinkerbell, and that was the criteria. So I fought for her. People like Kelly Chu, who is a huge collector, can pretty much buy whatever she wants. She went to bat and spoke with the woman who was in charge of Disneyland at that time and said, look, you have to free the pixie. This is not fair. The artist is campaigning to free the pixie. You need to free the pixie. And because it was her and many others like her, the pixie was made into 2,500, and you can still, you know, you can go on eBay and get her for a decent price now. And she's absolutely stunning. And she's something that's very special. The face is as a result of the Mark Davis one from the film. I'm really good friends with Alice Davis, and she sent me Mark's turnaround drawings, which are sketches of every angle of her. I don't have the originals, but I had copies so that when I sculpted it, she looks like she's supposed to look. So.
And that's an incredible piece. Absolutely. I mean, you talk a lot about
and
it
all
in
the
book,
pieces that I do are like this. Yeah. All the pieces I do are very, very detailed. And it's usually because I can't stand the products that Disney's putting out.
Which I understand.
I mean, really, frankly, there's stuff that they're putting out that I'm going, it looks like Chinese garage sale. What are you doing? Why? Yeah. You know, and so
I understand that entirely.
60th anniversary, I was going crazy. I was like, what the? I walked through 60th anniversary and all the stuff was like really nasty. And I was like, you know, maybe the bag is kind of cool. Everybody's like, the bag's cool. Yeah, the bag's cool. And maybe you got a pin or something. But a lot of that stuff was really embarrassingly awful. And I walked through as an artist and said, yuck. So I came up with this piece. This is my 60th anniversary castle piece. And this is designed like my map. And what it is it's the castle. It's bas relief. It's the whole piece is 9 inches tall by about 7.5, 8. And you can hang it or you can display it. But the idea is the castle is all adorned in its 60th anniversary stuff. And then the diamonds below each have an attraction that was released in that decade.
Oh, wow.
So you have the train, first decade, and you have Small World, and you have Big Thunder, you have Buzz Lightyear, Indiana Jones, and each one was released in a different decade. And it wasn't my idea. It came from a collector and fan who knew Disney history. And he said, you know, wouldn't it be cool to put this in a plaque? And they're still available. I think I limited it to 200 pieces. They're all numbered. And that's still available. I think I maybe have 50 left. But the thing is that I'll pull it out and people will go, oh, because it really is. It's an heirloom piece.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want people to be able to collect. I want people to be able to collect cool stuff, not stuff that, popcorn boxes are nice, guys, and it's great,
Right.
for your kids and stuff. But later on, if you want something really special for that special someone, then as artists, I feel we're obligated to create something cool. And so I'm always working for something cool. And so far, Disney's okay with that.